It's been a while since I've done one of my credit card updates, so there's lots to get through in this April 2023 credit card news and offers video. I've got some big news on a very good American Express welcome offer, which I'll come back to later on. But I'm going to start off with some news from Barclaycard. A few things going on here. First of all, if you have got the Barclaycard Avios Plus credit card, and you also have the Barclays Premier Banking with Avios Rewards current account, which there are restrictions to that in terms of like your salary and how much you're Barclays, so it's unlikely you'll have both, but you might do. And there was an offer that ran last year which was pretty healthy in terms of a bonus. But anyway, if you've got both of them or you get both of them, you'll now also be able to get a dual reward, which basically is £5 paid into that current account every single month. Plus you'll get 4 airport lounge passes. I think it's Dragon passes added to your account. So not one for everyone, but if you've got it, it's worth knowing about. Another update on that Barclaycard Avios credit cards, both the normal one and the plus one. The plus one is the one that comes with a £20 month fee. The normal one is just free every single month. With both those cards, and I have got a whole video looking at them when they launched last year, so do check that out. But with those, if you spend a certain amount of money on those cards in a year, it varies depending on which card you have. I think it's £10,000 for the paid card, £20,000 a year for the free card. If you do that, you'll get an upgrade voucher. Now this upgrade voucher, similar in a way to the 2-for-1 voucher you get with the Amex British Airways cards. Not really an upgrade in some ways, because what you're actually getting is the ability to pay the lower class price for the flight in terms of your points, as you would for the class you go for, but you've still got to pay the taxes and the fees of the higher class, if that makes sense. It's a bit complicated, but effectively you're getting an upgrade, of savings on the flight for going business or whatever it might be. Now that might not be for everyone. So Barclaycard have introduced the option that when you trigger that voucher, you can instead go for 7,000 Avios points. Now, 7,000 Avios points, when you convert it into Nectar points, which is the kind of the way that I use to work out a rough value of those points, only works out about 43 quid. So it's not a huge amount extra. But if you are using one of these cards and you don't have the intention of flying with BA, because again, you're getting the equivalent of 0.67% back on your spending, and that's the best one you can get on a non-American Express credit card. Obviously, you can get 1% with a Chase debit card, but then you might be using spending for that. You've got no interest in taking a companion voucher, or sorry, a 2-for-1, sorry, upgrade. God, confusing myself there. The upgrade voucher. Then you may as well swap them over for points if you wish, but just letting you know that. And while we're on Barclaycard as well, there's also been a change to the Barclaycard Rewards credit card cashback, how much you can earn in a year. It's nothing really to worry about, but it's worth sharing with you. So this is a card that I recommend as a backup to an Amex and a Chase card. So when you want another credit card that you can spend that earns you money and it's fee-free overseas. So generally, I only use this when I'm abroad, when I want to have that credit card protection or need it for something like car hire, and therefore not use my Chase debit card. But they are basically limiting how much you can earn. But this is a limit, is basically every single statement period, which is basically every single month. The most that you can spend and earn cash back on is 4 times your credit limit. So let's say your credit limit is £1,000. That means the most you could spend in a month and earn that 0.25% cash back on will be £4,000. Now, obviously, if you have a higher credit limit, it's going to be even higher than that. And obviously, to make that practically work, you're going to have to pay off the card so you can free up the limit to spend again 4 times. So it's very unlikely, I think, that this is going to impact many people, but it's worth knowing about it. What else to tell you about? Let's stick with a couple of other credit card things to tell you about. This is the John Lewis Partnership credit card. You may remember I told you about it last year, that they were giving new applicants, whether you'd previously had the old John Lewis card or you sign up for the first time, triple points for the first 90 days at John Lewis and Waitrose, which works out the equivalent of 4.25% back, which if you shop regularly at those retailers is pretty decent. It was due to end at the end of the year. It still carried on into January, and it's carried on now. It's still on offer there if you want to apply for that card. So it's worth having a look at it. Although incidentally, I should say that I didn't apply for the card again when my original one closed, when they changed the supplier. And I actually got an email saying, look, because I've been swiping at Waitrose with my Waitrose card, they know what I've been spending. And they said, look, we'll give you the points you would have got if you'd been spending at Waitrose. So I got an extra, I think it was 20 quid or something like that of points when I joined up. So have a look out, see if you've been emailed that offer. Again, it might have been and gone, but it's worth having a look in your emails, see if it's there and if it's still valid. Another credit card promotion to tell you about, and I'm not really sure this is one to go for, but I want to give you the information about it. And let me actually get the website up for you. This is for a credit card, a newish credit card called Yonder. Now, what Yonder are offering, you see it right at the top of the screen there, they're offering you 1 month free and £50 of dining credit when you sign up. So it could be an option for you to get that £50 dining credit and then close the card down afterwards. The reason I'm not a huge fan of this is because there is a £15 a month fee. Now, you do get travel insurance with that, worldwide travel insurance that comes with that, but you can also get worldwide travel insurance elsewhere for the same amount or possibly less. So, for example, a package current account, you could get worldwide travel insurance for roughly the same price, but you'd also get breakdown cover and you'd also get gadget cover and things like that. So they might be a better way of doing it if you do want those bundled options. So paying £15 a month doesn't really work for me here. And also when you earn these points, you can only use them at specific retailers, mainly restaurants and mainly only in London. So let me go back to my page. It's a bit distracting, that image there, isn't it? Keep going around in the background. So it's going to be, I think, difficult to earn the points you need to redeem them. You can't just go to a restaurant and spend, I've got £5 worth of points to spend them. You need to get a certain number of points. Now, for example, I had a look and I think there's great restaurants on there. Bao, I'm a big fan of Bao. Should obviously say this is mainly London restaurants right now, if not exclusively London restaurants. That will expand, but you're limited as well. But you have to have, I think it was like 2,100 points or something like that in order to spend them in Bao for £50 of dining credit. Now, that's going to take you a while of spending on that card to get there. I don't imagine that if you did it just for 1 month, you would actually achieve too much, be able to do that. So really, this is about getting that £50 credit and then closing it. Where it is interesting, and it might be an appeal to a small number of you, is that although they will look at your credit report and they'll do a soft check and they'll do a hard check, they don't exclusively decide whether they're going to lend to you based on your credit file. What they actually want to use instead, or as well as, is open banking. So they have a look at your spending on your current account. They see your money coming in, the money where it's going out, and they make a decision that way. So if you are potentially new to the UK and don't have much of a credit report, you've got a thin credit file, this could be a way for you to get a credit card. And obviously the more you use it, the more you'll be able to boost your credit report as well. But again, £15 a month, there are going to be other options out there. So I don't think it's the best one for you. What should I tell you about now? This is mainly a credit card video, but obviously I'm going to tell you also about buy now, pay later, because I think it's important part of that bigger credit kind of world to share this with you. And there are a couple of changes worth letting you know about. First of all is that Klarna is going to introduce late fees from, I think it's from June. It's going to be £5 if you miss a payment, or if the amount you've used on Klarna is less than 20 quid, it'd be 25% of that. And they can charge you this twice per item you've bought. So potentially that is 10 quid extra that you could be charged if you don't make your payments with Klarna. And this is kind of, you've got a 7-day grace period as well. But it's obviously important to avoid paying these back late anyway, but particularly with this late fee coming in, and ClearPay and Laybay already have late fees, but Klarna are introducing it now. And another buy now, pay later service, Zilch, they have started reporting to I think it's Experian, and what not only are they reporting to Experian, it also will make an impact to your credit report and your credit score, and lenders will see this information if you are late with your payments, how much you owe and things like that. So it's really, really important with them, although it's important with all of them, but particularly with Zilch, if you are using them, that you don't miss any payments, because it could cause an issue for your credit report. And now let's go on to American Express, because there's lots for me to tell you about here. Let's talk about some short-term offers first of all. They won't be available to all of you, but it's certainly worth having a look at your American Express app or online account at the offers to see if they're there. One of them is a £250 credit if you spend £500 with United. This ran a couple of times last year and I took advantage of it once. In fact, I had it on my card and on the supplementary card that I've got for my wife. So when we booked our flights to America, we bought one ticket, which was just over 500 quid on one card, another ticket on the other card, 500 quid, got the credit back. So basically we got half price flights, which was fantastic. Now it won't be on all cards. So for example, it's not showing on the British Airways American Express cards, but it may well be showing on your other cards. Again, this might not really be around for long, but it's definitely worth guessing that if you think you're going to use it. You have to book by May though, but you can travel later in the year. Another offer that would probably be on more cards is a 10% back dining credit. Again, it won't be on all of them, but it's worth definitely having a look. The ones that were listed by American Express were the Platinum card, the Platinum Cashback, the Gold card, and I think there was one other in there as well. But I actually found it on my Reward card, which wasn't one of the ones listed. So it's worth having a look, seeing if you get it. But 10% off a number of restaurants around the whole of the UK. Certainly much more London-centric, but there are some of the national chains, Honest Burgers, Yo Sushi, Rosa's Thai are on there as well, and they do pop up in other cities around the UK. This 10% back is every time you pay with a card at one of those restaurants until early July, and you never know, it could well be extended. So add it to your card, check out which restaurants are there. I would suggest that you always, before you go to a restaurant, let's say you do it in a month's time or 2 months' time, you do have a look again just to check the restaurants haven't changed. Sometimes they move on this similar platinum dining credit offer, which we'll come back to in a second. So it's worth just checking that something hasn't disappeared or something hasn't been added over the next few months. And now let's finish on 2 of the new American Express welcome bonus, the boosted welcome bonuses that are available right now that have just launched. This first one, I'm going to tell you about it, but I'm not going to recommend you go for it. I'm not a massive fan of this, but this is the Marriott Bonvoy American Express card. The current bonus has been boosted, so you earn 40,000 Marriott Bonvoy points plus a free night, although there are limits, restrictions on the value of that night, when you spend £3,000 in the first 3 months if you successfully apply for the card before the 30th of May 2023. Now that might sound great, 40,000 points is double what you'd normally get, so it's a big bonus plus that free night. However, there are reasons why I wouldn't choose this. Number one, there's a £75 annual fee. Not a big fan of that. Plus, how often do you actually spend nights at a Marriott Bonvoy hotel? If you go to them a lot, you travel for work or you've got some favourites you go to, you're really into this, then maybe it's worth taking a look at it. But for most of us, I think you're better off using one of the other welcome bonuses for a card, such as the American Express Nectar card or the American Express Platinum Cashback card, which again, both great entry cards, the ones I recommend as your first American Express card. Those bonuses might not be as big as this, but you've got that flexibility of how you use them and where you use them. We should also say with this one and that Nectar one and the Platinum Cashback card, those ones are only available to you if you have not had any American Express card in your name in the last 2 years. Okay, so you might be ruled out of this anyway if you have had a card. So again, not one that I would suggest you go for, but it is a boosted one, so it's worth sharing it with you. There's one last offer to tell you about, and this one is a little bit more complicated, but if you follow the steps, it could be worth £815 of profit. Now, I have got an article over on the blog, beclaimyourcash.com, which takes you through them step by step. So I will link to that above as well. So after watching this, definitely go and have a look at this article to make sure you've got everything, you've understood everything completely. But this is for the American Express Platinum credit card, this one right here. This one comes with a £575 annual fee. So for most people, most of the time, it's not a good card to go for. But when boosted welcome offers like the one offering that's just launched this week are happening, then it is definitely worth looking at. Now, the normal offer is 30,000 points when you spend £3,000 in 3 months, which is okay, but I wouldn't necessarily go for it because now, as you can see here from the screen, 60,000 Amex membership reward points plus £200 credit to spend at Amex Travel when you spend £6,000 in 6 months. So you've got to spend more money, but you have got more time to do this. And let's get that step-by-step guide here because I want to take you through this just to help you know what to do and when. So, good offer, right? How does that though become worth 815 quid? So, you've got to do a few things. First of all, you've got to make sure you're eligible for the card, right? Now, there's the eligibility just in terms of your credit rating, which I suggest you do for any credit card anyway. So always do the eligibility search before making an application. But also, this boosted offer is a little bit different to the normal American Express welcome offers. I've spoken about it a few times on the channel before, but this one is open to people with existing American Express cards unless they've got one of 4 or had one of 4 Amex cards in the last 2 years. So if in the last 24 months you have had the Platinum card itself, not the Platinum Cashback cards, the Platinum card, the American Express Preferred Rewards Gold credit card, the American Express Reward credit card, or the American Express Green card. These are basically the 4 cards that when you spend on them, you earn Amex reward points. If you've had any of those, sadly, you will not be able to get this welcome bonus. But any other Amex, either open now or closed, but you've had it in the last 2 years, the account in your name. So supplementary cards are fine. If you had your name on a card, but someone else was the account holder, that doesn't count. You are the account holder for the Nectar card, the British Airways cards, the Platinum Cashback cards. You will be eligible to get this welcome bonus. So check that first of all. That's the most important thing. Now, you also, before you apply for the card, don't go straight to the American Express website, because if you do that, you're going to miss out on a little bit extra. Now, you can get a refer a friend link, and often they're pretty decent. With this card, it's an extra 5,000 points. So if you've got someone who has that, they can share that with you. Extra 5,000 points is great. But at the time of recording this, it is better if you apply via the cashback site Top Cashback, because there's 60 quid cash that you'll get for opening the Platinum card via Top Cashback. Now, these rates do change. So when you do apply, check it out, what's available there. Have a look at Quidco as well, because sometimes the rates are better on one site than the other, and see what's offering the best one. And do compare it to the Refer a Friend 5,000 points as well, because you never know, if it's dropped down a lot, you might be better off getting the points. So that's important. So you've checked your eligibility for the card, you've checked you're eligible for the offer, and you've got the place you're going to apply for, the best extra bonus on top. But then I want you to wait. I want you to hold off applying right now. I just saw before, this offer is running until the 13th of June, 2023. I want you to apply for this card as close to that date as possible. I'll come back to why in a minute, okay? You could do it now, but to get that 815 quid, you really want to sort of do the later application as you can. So let's assume when you're applying for it, you choose when you're going for it, but let's assume that it is in the early June, before that 13th of June deadline. You apply for the card, hopefully you're accepted, and then you have to pay a £575 fee up front. So bear that in mind, that fee is paid up front. You'll hopefully, if you follow these steps, you'll get half of that, or a little bit less than half of that back, but not until early 2024. Okay, so if that's going to be an issue, again, a reason to rule you out of this card. And remember, the next step here is to spend £6,000 in 6 months. If you can't do that, again, another reason to rule you out. Now, if you are applying for this card in early June, that 6 months takes you up to early December, which means you're going to have a lot, not just your summer holiday spending, but also a lot of your Black Friday and Christmas spending. So that might help you with that total. But again, this is not a reason to spend on a card if you can't afford it. You have to be able to afford £6,000 in 6 months on things you'll be spending anyway. So that's really, really important. We've also got here an extra step here. Same with any credit card. Just set up a direct debit to make sure you don't forget to pay it off every single month. Same with all credit cards. You don't want to be charged interest. Now, the next one here, this extra thing here, is how you can start boosting on top, hacking or stacking even extra offers on top of that welcome deal. First one here is Harvey Nichols. Now, they have an offer on the Platinum card. You have to activate it in the app. But every 6 months, so January to the end of June, and then the 1st of July to the end of December, if you spend 50 quid at Harvey Nicks, you get 50 quid back. So you're getting this card at the end of the early June. That means before the end of June, you have to spend 50 quid at Harvey Nicks. And then from the 1st of July onwards, do it again. That'll be 100 quid credit back to your account. And you can buy toiletries or booze or things like that. You don't have to spend more than 50 quid. I've always spent around 50 quid. Let's say you're spending 55 quid. Okay, but you're still getting something, hopefully, that you need. Should be something you need for less. The next one is to eat out in the UK. Another offer you have to activate on the Amex card, on this Platinum card, is £150 dining credit at selected restaurants in the UK. Now, it is, again, quite London focused, but there are restaurants in Leeds and Manchester and other big cities as well. There includes chains like the Ivy or some kind of nicer, smaller places. They're often quite more high-end restaurants as well, but it's a nice little treat. You go out, spend 150 quid, you get 150 quid back. You don't have to do it in one go. You could go 3 times if you wanted to the Ivy and spend 50 quid each time, or you can splash out in one go. But again, that is money you're going to get back and have to activate the offer first, but that is a great deal. Now, when you're spending on this money, you're getting all this, you're spending your £6,000. When you get your bonus, your 60,000 points, and that £200 credit, you obviously want to spend that £200 as soon as you can to get that credit active on your card. And also those points you've got, you want to transfer them in how you're going to use them as quickly as possible if you want to, or if you don't want to use them straight away, then you want to open up the American Express Reward card, which is a free card. And that means that your points will remain active because you're going to close this Platinum card soon. So you want to keep them active, but they remain active if you've got either the Gold or the Reward card going. So open up one of those. And that will keep your points going. It is worth checking before you close down the Platinum card, which we'll come back to in a minute, that those accounts are linked, that your points are going to remain active. But if you don't have these other cards, or if you haven't spent those points, you will lose them when you cancel the Platinum card. So it's a really, really important step. And let's assume 6 months are up. You've taken 6 months to do it. You're in early December. This is why I said to delay your application for this card. Because those Harvey Nicks and dining credits I mentioned, they reset on January the 1st. And I think it's worth keeping the card going for an extra month, an extra 6 weeks, whatever it might be, to get you to get those offers. So you'll be paying, yes, the card for another month, but you'll get another £200 of credit from eating out and from Harvey Nicks. Now, you have to wait a few days again for that credit to be applied to your account, but assuming you've got all your points, they're secured because you've got another card for them to stay alive, you've spent the money that you need to money, and the credit has come back to your card, that is when you can cancel your Platinum card. You might want to keep going on. You might want to keep it. When I went to cancel mine recently, they offered me 35,000 points to keep it. I chose not to do that. But again, you might think it's worthwhile. Things like the travel insurance and other perks, you might think they're worth it. But for most people, I don't think so. But again, if you cancel the card, you get a pro rata refund on that fee. And when you combine all these together over 7 months, that works out at 815 quid. I should say, actually, to get that valuation, you're transferring those Amex reward points that you've earned into Avios and then into Nectar points. That's important. If you transfer it straight into a gift card, it will be a lower profit value, a lower valuation. So this is the most you can get. But again, 815 quid. A lot of that will be in Nectar points. But yeah, you can spend 400 quid, £500 in Nectar points over a couple of months doing your shopping, your normal grocery shopping, I'm sure. Again, told you there's a lot there. So do head over to that blog post for more information to take you through all of those details. I think it's a cracking offer if you can spend 6k in 6 months and you're eligible. My name is Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. For more ways to save money via credit cards, check out these videos right here.